من شهر ما كنت أعرف ولا كلمات بالعربية وهلا بعد ساعات ما بتنت من الدراسة ومراجعة الكروت والاندماج بالمختبر العربي صرت أعرف عربي أكثر.
But come on, did you think I was going to say I'm fluent? Of course I'm not. But here's how my first month went with Arabic as a language learner who tracked every single minute that I spent, every word that I came across, and every new word that I added to my vocabulary. So I am 1 month into my 1-year Arabic challenge. I spent 16 hours with the language and grew my vocabulary to just over 240 words after learning an average of 8 new words per day. My time was split with 33% of it watching 30 videos on the Easy Arabic channel, 15% on textbook study, and then 52% on vocabulary learning through Anki. 16 hours doesn't feel like a whole lot, and I need to spend more time with immersion than on Anki, but somehow across the whole month I heard 28,000 words in Arabic during my immersion, and that's a substantial amount. But now onto how the month and the challenge actually went, I forgot how much I enjoy being a complete novice. Now, beyond just the novelty of the language, every sentence and every word feels valuable. It's like I'm playing linguistic Pokemon where I want to catch everything that goes by, and there are some very charming things about the Arabic language. After less than a week of watching daily videos from the Easy Arabic team based in Egypt, the language sounds less aggressive. As I've learned more and I'm exposed to more, there's a friendliness and a softness that's come out in the language that reminds me of a similar attitude shift that I had with German once I started hearing the sound like the word völlig in German. There's an undeniable sweetness about hearing people talk about dating and marriage, even if there are some jarring elements to that, but at least in terms of that cultural understanding piece, that's starting to come. I even became an Easy Arabic member for the month of January. This is not an ad, and I encourage you to use these channels in whatever language you're learning because their content is so valuable. I'm mostly watching videos understanding 5% from the Arabic and 95% from the English subtitles. Words that I learned in Anki are being reinforced in the videos, which is fantastic, but I'm also picking up on words that are said a lot, like myself, nafsi. Watching the beginner, slow Arabic conversations could increase my comprehension, but the videos are just dull and they lack any of the vibrance of what keeps me going and has me watching more. Let's put it this way, I'm still in the phase where listening to ads in Arabic is enriching. I enjoyed learning the Arabic alphabet, but I didn't think ahead to what letters and sounds aren't in the alphabet. So the fact that there's no letter P in the alphabet is highly amusing. Like, here, have a slice of pizza, or hey, I'm gonna read you a chapter in Harry Potter. And then I had my first moment of actually benefiting from my vocabulary when I was on a bus and I heard an announcement that we were passing by a Jamia, a university. There's a definite enjoyment and a growing confidence here, but this is also a tale of the Dunning-Kruger effect. For the uninitiated, that's where people with limited knowledge or competence greatly overestimate their own knowledge or competence. I don't think I'm advancing particularly quickly with Arabic, but there is a growing confidence and optimism based on how many words I'm recognizing from Hebrew. When I look at the 240-ish words that are in my vocabulary, just under 40% of them are related in some way to a word in Hebrew, though most of them are from outdated terms, or it's sort of hard to see the connection given how long ago the languages diverged. For most of the words, it's hard enough for me to understand the pronunciation of the words and to imagine the spelling, but the connections do help, where it feels like I'm walking around in a dark room with a candle rather than in pitch black. In terms of helpfulness, this is similar to how 30% of the English language comes from French, but I don't understand jack in French, though where I'm hoping this will help in the future with Arabic is when it comes to reading. For now, what that means is I'm trying to figure out how much of this language could I understand if I saw it written down, or if I knew more about the connections between Arabic and Hebrew, and then I'm gonna let that guide what I do next. So thanks to those of you who commented on the last video on this topic. I'll keep tabs on how this idea of language cross-pollination helps you, I guess helps me, it helps us learn better. I also forgot how much I hate being a novice. Most of this stems from the involuntary humility of how much I know versus how much I need to learn and to practice.
وفعلت ونك وكوب.
A few days ago, I tried reading something very basic and I came across a word that I didn't know. And I thought to myself, I should get myself a dictionary. No, I shouldn't. I don't even know what the order of the letters is in Arabic to be able to look up a single word. In the end, I'm probably going to get a dictionary, but I'm glad to have been humbled along the way. And the other humbling part of this month is that there's a term called troublesome pairs, which I assume a lot of you are familiar with. Like, why does the word zujaja, bottle, have to be so similar to dajaja for chicken or hen? Side note, I originally learned this term troublesome pairs from the world of birding, where you have two species that look exactly the same, but scientists decide that they're two distinct species. I'm not sure if it's more difficult to spot the difference between a willow warbler and a chiffchaff, or to remember the difference between a zujaja and a dajaja, but I think I need to pick less confusing hobbies. A few notes about my process. Each day, I log a transcript of all of the words that I came across during my immersion. So I know not just that I've come across 28,238 words, but also the specific trend for how I've seen the word mumkin, for maybe, 207 times over the course of the month. So just like I've done in the past for watching Friends or SpongeBob and seeing how your language skills should grow, I have a running list of all of the words that I've come across. And I'm beginning to work them into my vocabulary, and I'll let you know how this goes. Especially in these early days where I have such a small foundation for everything in Arabic, I found a lot of value using generative AI, aka Nano Banana, as part of Gemini. It's the image generation thing, to create better vocab cards in Anki. Here are a couple of examples. The word daraja means bicycle, but it also sounds like the word garage. So here's a cartoon of a bike crashing into a garage. Good work, Google. I've also been very happy and impressed with an Anki add-on called Awesome TTS, where I add audio to all of my vocab cards to make sure that I'm practicing listening in addition to reading. I even spent a few hours switching over to the Levantine Arabic pronunciation that's offered by Microsoft Azure, rather than the standard MSA that comes right out of the box. And lastly, here's what the next month will look like. I don't think that I'm going to deviate much from the original plan for the year that I laid out in the last video. I'm going to continue ramping up to 10 new words per day in Arabic, just to make sure that I can hit that goal of 3,650 words total for the year. My biggest change for this month is that I'll be immersing more, and I'll be shifting over to watching Al Rawabi School for Girls on Netflix. It's a show that comes out of Jordan and focuses on the Levantine dialect. While I'm going to continue with somewhat of a focus on MSA for books and other writing, speaking the Levantine dialect is really one of my main priorities for the year, no matter how much I like the Egyptian dialect being shown in the Easy Arabic videos. Well, that is month one of the challenge in the books. I've got my work cut out for me, and hopefully you do too with whatever language activities you've got going on. Good luck learning one word at a time. Good luck with whatever your goals are, and I'll catch you in the next one. And that is the sound of a baby, a tifl. A newborn baby. Like I said, this has been a busy month.